Well, we're live. I'm waiting on Colton. He's not here yet, but I thought I'd take a minute to tell you about the wonderful stuff we got going on. First of all, I had a wonderful 5 at 5 today with Daniel Johnson, he's one of the friends. I know his parents better than him, but he is a wonderful musician from Nashville, originally from Georgia. Had fun talking to him. Additionally, tomorrow I have some meetings to help all the stuff that we're doing with the musicians and everything else. I'm so excited about how all this is just coming together at the same time. It's just really wonderful and beautiful. And then let's talk about Colton, because when Colton gets on here tonight, I'm going to kind of emphasize that this latest domain name thing and also the getting a Roku channel, this is going to help him get into the wrestling pantheon. This is going to help him because this Roku thing is growing in a very big way, because we learned that a lot of the people are actually, there's a lot more streaming of television now than there is on just kind of any kind of all the, let me say this more clearly. Streaming is the future of television and is growing at an incredibly, big rate. And so what we're wanting to do is start with Roku and then move to Amazon and Apple and all these other places that have big platforms. Each one of them is big. And so the idea is you get on Roku and then you just immediately start to grow into further and further channels. And you get onto the idea is you get onto like Amazon devices, you get onto Apple devices, you get onto Android devices, you get onto the iPhone, you do all kinds of things to help kind of grow the brand just within the same series of things that you might have started with 15 years ago, going into cable or things like that. This is the much bigger platform, and this is a great time to get on there. And I also want to say, if anybody thinks they have something that gives them a lot of video content, this is the perfect reason why you might want to get onto a Roku channel, and I can help you do that. I can hook you up. And so that's one of the things that this stroke has provided me, because I always talk about having the best pandemic ever. And I have to say, the people I've gotten to reconnect with, I never thought I'd be a pro wrestling manager, but I'm sure enjoying helping Colton kind of enlarge his brand. And so I'm really interested to see where this all goes. And I really am kind of amazed at how quickly it's come together. It may not seem like it's coming together, but it's all come together just in magical timing and everything else. I'm just so surprised and so very happy. And I know that so much of this is just clearly the favor of God being just letting me have the ability to see that this is all coming from God and not from me. And I just can't wait to get Colton here on the show and talk about that stuff. Also, if you didn't watch Daniel tonight, the 5-on-5, you need to do that. 5 at 5. You need to also go back and watch Carlene Carter. You need to watch Doug Kershaw. You need to watch Dave Stuckey doing his great stuff. Beth Bombara. We're having so many things on the streaming stuff. And never forget that my primary focus is to try to get Tiffany Brown's wonderful book out there, as well as the things we're going to do on the Heroes and Miracles thing coming up later this week and further on into the picture book that I've got. All these things we got going on. And so let's get Colton here. There. Was that him? I thought I saw him. Oh, there he is. That is just perfect timing, man. Let me get you on the screen here. There you are. I've been hyping you up and talking about the Roku. And so I just think that we're literally weeks away from being able to debut your Roku channel. And so kind of tell me what's going on and tell me about the UFC fight last night.
Absolutely. So actually, the UFC fight is tomorrow. My date was wrong.
Okay.
My date was completely wrong. There's a UFC fight tomorrow. It's going to be an awesome one. I actually watched the UFC fight last Saturday. It was one of the most crazy fights I've ever seen, and the UFC world's really buzzing about it. That's Max Holloway and Calvin Kattar went to absolute war. It was so crazy. Max Holloway had some of the most significant. He had the most significant strikes ever landed in the UFC fight. So it was an absolute war, and it was so much fun to watch. So my little animal inside of me got to get cured on Saturday. That's always good. Yeah, and like you were speaking on the Roku channel, we are real close to really being able to unveil this to the people and really get them to see everything.
This is a big reason why we're doing this stuff is to have video for all these platforms. I'm just telling you. And that's the whole key is, you know, getting in on this Roku stuff right now is just like getting in on you know, all the stuff that started and nobody was able to get on it. That started on whatever it is. This is a giant opportunity to get on big things going on.
Absolutely. And I wanted to thank you. I haven't really been able to get on here and thank you, Dale, for really getting all this together and really getting my gears turning in my head.
Well, you know, so much of this, I think about your dad, and I loved him so much. And it's so interesting to realize, you know, kind of all these things going on and realizing how much of this was your dad. He made me jump off, you know, he made me take, you know, that thing I talked about with Aaron Law. He made me, you know, take a wagon down Jack G's hill. There was no reason for that, and that's what he would do. He was the ringmaster, as Aaron said.
He was the Don King of this area, man, and he could talk anybody into anything. And once again, these people are going to get tired of me saying this every single time. But I promise you, Dale, if all this would have happened while my dad was still alive, y'all wouldn't be talking about me. Y'all be talking about Kelly Patrick Theron Vaught. That's who y'all be talking about. They'd be talking about KP. Yes, they'd be talking about KPTV. You know what I'm saying?
Kelly Vaught, it was always so funny to see what he was going on. And he was at Bible school one time with me and Matthew.
Oh, man.
This was at my church, the Presbyterian Church, and he basically came up with KPTV was the name of the network.
Of course. He inspired that. He inspired Must See TV. A lot of people don't know this, but Dad, of course, never got to watch me wrestle. He never got to see me. He never got to see an event. All he saw, he got to see me train for about, 8 months before he passed. And so, and we really talked about, what we're going to do, what approach are we going to take to this? Because, Dad was, when it came to the creative process, Dad was right there with me. He was, hey, let me shoot this into your ear. Let me shoot this into your ear. Does this work?
Exactly.
And I was so willing to listen to him because his ideas always fit in. And while he was talking, and he was like, and we was just like, hey, he's like, you like your initials? I said, CTV. I was like, I love CTV. I was like, I like that I have your name. I was like, I like that I have your middle name. I was like, I think that's cool. And he said, what about Must See TV? And I go, and it took me a second. And it's my name. It's my name. You see it right here. So, and he said it, and it took me a second, and then it like went over my head, and I was like, oh, Must See TV. And actually, the first couple times I went up to Harley races and I trained, we would go in there and I would walk around, talking in third person. That's what kind of how crazy I am. I walk around, I'll be like, hey, watch out for Must See TV. And they'd be like, okay, this kid's just saying he's Must See TV. And then it took to where my name was actually on a platform like this. I believe we were in a Zoom call or maybe something happened. And I said it again. I was like, and that's why I Must See TV. And they go, and I think it was somebody goes, oh, that's awesome. They're like, that's crazy. They're like, oh, I get it. And then from there on out, a lot of people have caught on with it and really ran with it. And Dad didn't even get to see the fruition of everything in it. And I'm like, Dang, I'm like this guy's pulling out stuff from the grave right now, giving me clout from the grave.
Well, and that's why when I first started thinking about this thing and seeing all this different stuff, I'm like, who's better than having a growing wrestling platform and having you as the leader? I mean, you're the guy.
I mean, I'm glad we got your brain power. I'm glad we got it, because as soon as you ran that idea by me, Dale, I just saw it as really a way that I could bring out these multiple platforms, like you've been saying. And this ROKU is really just going to be the first notch in it. I mean, like I said, we're going to have everything in. I'm going to give my big spiel real quick. We're going to have everything on there. We're going to have our past matches. We're going to have current matches. We're going to have the upcoming matches. You'll be able to see that. And of course, if there's ever anything live stream, we will put it directly onto the ROKU so all my fans can watch it. Yes,
and of course, say that when we're talking about this stuff, I mean, you talked about the platforms you're on, and clearly the WLW, that's good, but you're going up the ladder. Clearly,
absolutely. And I think there's a lot of big things to come in 2021 with everything that's going on. And I really just feel like this is going to be a big year where we can really push everything. And also another thing I can announce now that it's in the works is I've talked to a couple graphic designers where, we're spitballing some ideas. So there's definitely going to be some merchandise as well coming in the near future as well. And so that's going to be, it's going to be incredible. And it's going to be, and we can find that on the domain name, which is coltonvaught.com. coltonvaught.com got a nice ring to it, eh? And we're gonna have some fun with it. And as well as the ROKU channel, you can also go to coltonvaught.com and check out, of course, all these podcasts we're gonna have up here that I've had with Dale. Oh, pointing the wrong way. That we've had with Dale, and then of course all the ones that we're gonna have that come on in the near future, which I'm so excited for. I've actually talked to a couple people, just spitballed a couple friends, because I got some friends in some high places, and I really feel like the people would like to hear me have a good conversation with them.
Absolutely.
As well as you, Dale. So I really feel like you guys are going to want to tune in for what's coming up next. Well, and if you're not on the bandwagon, jump on.
And that is one of the things I told you, come on here and shine, and you've done it. You've done it great. You've done it, and this is a great platform, and I'm just so excited of everything that's coming up.
Absolutely, Dale. I really am ready to get all this going.
I'm telling you, man, it's happening now. Here we are, signing off.
Hey, have a good one, Dale. God
bless,
brother.
You too, man.